Scripture says, first of all, anytime someone opens with Scripture says,
and they don't like
and you don't reference what the Scripture is.
Yeah, come on, man.
Scripture says, I've been young and now I'm old, yet I never seen the righteous forsaken. After all these years serving you, the American people, I have not seen the righteous forsaken. I love you all. May you keep the faith, and may God bless you all.
What?
How do you feel about that?
That dude's just so happy he doesn't have to tweet anymore.
I don't think he's ever tweeted.
No, I'm saying, or his assistant's so happy. She's like, it's definitely a she, by the way. He's like, oh my goodness, I don't have to pretend. You literally shut down churches. Nothing makes me angrier than to see Christ haters quote his word. Wow, people are really turning up.
He kind of got ratioed.
Don't you dare quote scripture while in support of up the moment of birth. You are a disgrace. Robert, it's not you really out here liking everything, huh? My work here is done.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh, well, he got ratioed. Scripture also has several things to say about heretics. Man who persecuted Christians says this. Wow, that's great.
Someone said Job will go as a bitch. Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, oh, that's an interesting use of Scripture. Now he's quoting Psalm 37 here, which we could pull up if you want. But I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I mean, again, to your point earlier, like a little bit of Jesus, no better than no Jesus. You know? So Psalm 37 is what he's referencing, I believe. This is the verse he's referencing. I was young and now I'm old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. They are always generous and lend freely. And lend freely, their children will be a blessing. Turn from evil and do good, then you will dwell in the land forever. For the Lord loves the just and will not forsake his faithful ones. Wrongdoers will be completely destroyed. The offspring of the wicked will perish. The righteous will inherit the land and dwell in it forever. So
imagine if his last thing was, as president, the scripture says, wrongdoers will be completely destroyed and the offspring of the wicked will perish. Anyway, what if that was his last bit? And I was like, oh.
So I've never seen the righteous forsaken, though. It sounds like he's referring to the American people being as the righteous.
And what does forsaken mean? Brush me up, just for someone listening that doesn't really know.
Like abandoned, left to their own devices.
Okay.
And so he's saying American people never been forsaken. Is he identifying?
Is this the same? Is he saying that literally right after fumbling Hurricane Helene?
Did he fumble? He did.
Yeah,
that's pretty bad, right?
Really bad.
FEMA ran out of money or something.
They ran out of money.
That's misinformation and disinformation.
They gave everyone $700.
No, that was here. They gave everyone.
No, it was there too. Yeah, that was like their number. They gave everyone $700, and then FEMA bypassed people that had Trump flags outside.
Oh, I heard about that. That was verified. I think in Florida.
We covered this. Yeah, we didn't cover this.
That's dark.
That's dark.
That's dark.
They were forsaken. Anyway. I'll miss them.
You'll miss them. Look up some of these executive orders. I'm curious what kind of executive orders. I have a massive update for you. I'm sure by this point, you've heard about the Blessed God Summit happening March 27th, 28th, 29th here in beautiful Carlsbad, California. But we've heard your requests. We've conceded to your demand. There are virtual tickets that are now available for the Blessed God Summit, so you can access it from anywhere in the world, as well as access to the replays. And for those of you guys that are looking for something extra, we're also offering a virtual ticket and an exclusive Bless God Summit merch bundle. There's some amazing art and some exclusive pieces done by our friend Josh Nadeau from Sword and Pencil that you have to check out. So join us online for the virtual event and experience some sessions from my favorite podcasters, pastors, and performers. We have a stacked lineup. I'm talking about Preston Perry, Dr. Sean McDowell, Inspiring Philosophy. What do you mean? Lila Rose, Alan Parr, and his wife Jen Parr. We even have Nate Sala from Wise Disciple, Gavin Ortland, David Wood, Avery from God Logic Apologetics. And on the pastoral side, we have my friend Daniel Golding, Pastor Ed Newton from CBC in San Antonio, and my personal pastor from Rhythm Church, Pastor Jeff Moores and his wife Erin Moores. You won't want to miss out from amazing performances from America's Got Talent winner Dustin Savella, Billboard charting hip-hop artist John Keith and Miles Minnick, and as seen on Jordan Peterson's We Who Wrestle with God tour, Dirt Poor Robins. And we're still finalizing a few more speakers. So head over to blessgod.shop, get your virtual ticket now, and you can get yourself a bundle with some of the exclusive merch as well. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace. Let's see how these executive orders line up to Biden's executive orders. Well, one of his first ones was like about trans stuff, right?
Wow.
So he is rescinding the 78. So his first executive order is
This is one big executive order on all of
there was none righteous, apparently. There was not a single good executive order. And he's just taking them all back. All right. He says, implementing a regulatory freeze to halt new regulation until full control of the government is achieved. What does that mean? Regulatory freeze? So he wants to have more control of the government, I guess. Freezing federal hiring with exceptions for the military and other specified categories. That seems like the Doge approach that they're doing to clean up some of the bureaucracy, which I'm all for. Requiring all federal workers to return to full-time in-person work immediately.
There was people working federally that were working from home.
Oh, yeah, bud. I know someone that was working for the city of New York, and they had moved to Florida and weren't even living in New York anymore. And they were working for the city or the county of New York or the state of New York. Yeah.
This someone we know?
Really this is someone I know. You've met him. You know who he is, but yeah, I've known.
Wow, that's really funny. Okay. That's like when an executive at a mega church starts working remote.
that's terrible.
Like, you don't go to church here. Okay. Directing every federal department and agency to address the ongoing cost of living crisis. That's a weak one. That's a weak one. Withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement. Saving over $1 trillion.
Listen, I don't think this Paris Climate Agreement is beneficial to us. I think it's a lot of my issue with these climate agreements is usually they don't mean anything unless you get the whole world on them. And there's just countries that they don't got it. Like they got to use the quote unquote dirty energy to pull themselves out of poverty.
So it's like a virtue signaling agreement.
It's straight virtue signaling. Like even if all of the West was all unified and reduced our emissions, it's not moving the needle.
Wow.
You could have all of Europe and all of America and Canada, and the global South still needs to utilize the oil and the quote unquote dirty energy to, make it work.
Then 7 is just sending a letter to formally announce that to the UN. 8, restoring freedom of speech and preventing government censorship of free speech. I feel like they're making some of these up. Like this isn't a super solid source for finding out these executive orders, because what does that even mean? What did he sign that prevents government censorship of free? Ending the weaponization of government against political adversaries of the previous administration. Yeah,
that's a January 6th nod in terms of anything else. Okay, so those are the ones that we know. And then there's obviously the one with the daggone two genders, right? Drill, baby, drill. The West accounts for less than 25% of carbon emissions. That's why I don't think the Paris Agreement makes any difference. Like until you can figure out a way to make the lithium batteries and the solar panels and the EVs with less of a footprint, you're not going to move the needle. And you got to make it in a way that's technologically sufficient and sustainable for the poor countries. So the Paris Climate Agreement, to me, does seem just like a virtue signal.
Yeah.
It does seem like a virtue signal. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.